Adam here from Next Level Radio. I had the fantastic opportunity to speak with Morris Levy, one of the producers of the new film Affluenza, starring Ben Rosenfield, Gregg Sulkin, Nicola Peltz, and Gustin. Definitely make sure you go check out this movie. I'll tell you what, if you can, go online and watch the trailer. It looks really good. Morris has done some fantastic stuff in the past, so definitely check it out. Opens in theaters July 11th. And also make sure you follow the movie on Twitter for updates at Affluenza Film. I want you to make sure you also subscribe to us on iTunes so you can download all our podcasts and guest spotlights and take them on the go with you. You can also stream them online as well as check out blogs from all our on-air staff, find out when our live shows air, as well as stream previous shows and guest spotlights as well. It's nextlevelradioonline.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at NXTLevelRadio and like us on Facebook, facebook.com/nextlevelradioonline. Again, I want to thank you for tuning in and check out Affluenza in theaters starting July 11th. If you want to hear a recap of this interview, then make sure you listen to the showcast with myself and co-host Ben Beck July 13th. If you missed it, you can podcast it or stream it on our website. Don't worry. Well, that's enough talk. Let's get to the interview. Thanks again. Welcome to another Next Level Radio Guest Spotlight. I'm your host, Adam Gorey. Tonight's guest is here to talk about his new film, which opens this Friday, July 11th. It's a film about a young photographer who moves to wealthy Long Island in the summer of 2008 and gets caught up in the intoxicating temptations of money, sex, and privilege. Joining me on the Next Level Radio hotline, please welcome the producer of Affluenza, Morris Levy. Morris, how you doing?
Good, Adam. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really appreciative that you took the time to give us a call. The film, like I said, releases this Friday. So for anyone who may be listening who isn't familiar with the film or maybe hasn't seen the trailer quite yet, first off, I recommend seeing the trailer. It looks really good. Could you tell us a little more about it?
Sure. It's basically sort of a Great Gatsby for the young generation. It was set in 2008, right before the financial crisis hit, and it's about a young guy from the Midwest who comes to spend some time with his aunt and uncle and family in Great Neck, Long Island, which is a very wealthy area, very well known area, sort of like the Beverly Hills East. Mm-hmm. And he gets caught up in the money, the glamour, the sex, the drugs, and everything, and he ends up becoming accepted into the whole big scheme, and what takes place and what goes on, and how the financial crisis hits, and how everybody reacts, and what happens to that whole wealthy society.
Yeah, and I think
it really.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think Great Gatsby is a good comparison.
Yeah, it really does follow along the Great Gatsby, but it's definitely for young generation, and there's some other stuff in there that moves away from the Gatsby, but some stuff that moves towards it. So it's very interesting.
Right, and was any part of the film based about anybody in particular from true life experiences, or is it complete fiction?
Well, it's funny. The director Kevin Ash was asked that question at one of the screenings, and he does take some of that from his growing up in the suburb there. So I would say some of it is fictionalized, and some of it's nonfiction. So a lot of it has to do with the way he saw things growing up, in and around.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I mean it does seem like one of those films that could happen, especially today's, and I guess I'm only 27, so I can't really speak for today's youth, but it just seems like there is this area, especially amongst wealthy youth, that of this privilege and maybe a little bit of sense of entitlement maybe. Yeah,
no, it's true. If you look, I guess the world is becoming much more entitled. It's a different way of living, with the internet and the social media and things like that. There is a lot more sense of entitlement. Back in the day, when our parents or we grew up, it was much more, grinding it out.
Right.
In service industries, everybody was out there pounding the pavement. Today, people are sitting on their computers and trying to make a living off their computers, and the parents today, I think, are much more involved in their kids' lives. When I grew up, I drove my bike, I played Little League, I played sports after school. My parents weren't, at every single game, and and involved in every little thing. And today, it seems like the parents are at every game, all these travel leagues and things like that. They're involved in. So, it also, doesn't help the situation today with the kids as much. So they're much more involved. So, I think the kids become more entitled with all that stuff surrounding them.
Yeah, and plus everybody now wins a medal when they're in Little League and everything like that. Everybody gets a trophy.
It's so true, and it's unbelievable. It's like I went to my daughter's graduation of high school, and they showed a page where the awards were given out. There must have been like 70 awards. I'm like, geez, when I went to school, they gave out 2 or 3 awards. It was like 70 awards. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So yes, it's definitely a different society, and the kids are definitely, I think, have become more entitled. Not their fault at all.
No,
just,
it's just kind of how society has. I mean, you could call it evolving. Society. I guess it's more of a change and an evolution. But just looking at how things were 50 years ago was probably completely different how they were 50 years before that. So and 50 years from now it'll be something different too. So it's just kind of how society has gone. So.
No question about it.
What kind of release is the film? Is it a nationwide? Is it a little bit on demand?
It's a nationwide. We're opening up in New York this Friday, July 11th, and we'll be going out day and date. So we'll be opening on VOD also, the same day as theatrical, and then on July 18th we'll open up in LA, and then the couple weeks following that will be Miami, Houston, Orlando, Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit, so the rest of the country. So it'll be about in 10 of the bigger cities, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so it's a little bit limited at first, but eventually working its way to nationwide.
Yeah, we hope so. But it'll be we're definitely opening in 10 major cities over the next 2-3 weeks. Is Philadelphia one of them by any chance? Yeah, Philly will be also, yes.
Okay, cool. Because our station's pretty. I'm in Allentown, but my co-host lives in Philadelphia, and I'm often traveling down there. So it's definitely something I want to check out because, you've in the past worked with a lot of really good actors, including Paul Rudd, John Hamm, Cuba Gooding Jr., Rosario Dawson, and Jessica Alba. Yeah. What was it about some of the young talent in Affluenza that kind of stuck out when they were cast? I mean, I know you've worked with Nicola Peltz before in Harold, but even someone like Grant Gustin, and the rest of the cast, they're obviously very talented, not just from this film, but what their work prior to this film.
Yeah, it's a good point you brought up. It's funny because when I cast Nicola in Harold, she was 10, 11, 12 years old, I can't remember, and she was so talented.
Right.
I was watching her, and she came, and she loved to be on set, and she was working, and I told some agents in Hollywood, I said, you got to look at this actress. She's very talented. She's great, and everybody hears the same thing from people, but once they took a look at her, she ended up getting signed on pretty quickly, and her career has taken off, and she's a great talent. As far as the other guys, as you could see, from Gregg and Grant and Ben, where their careers went in the last, 12 to 24 months. I mean, Ben Rosenfield, who's just a phenomenal actor, has a wonderful recurring role on Boardwalk Empire as Nucky Thompson's nephew, and he's just fantastic. And then if you look at Grant Gustin, going from Glee to 90210, he just landed the DC comic character, The Flash.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to that because
I watched and the WB's pick. Okay.
No, I was just gonna say I watch Arrow, which is also on the CW, which is about the Green Arrow, and they had Grant on for a couple episodes to kind of get you ready for the spin-off of The Flash. And I mean, like you had mentioned, with him being on Glee and 90210 and then going to The Flash, I mean, it really flexes his acting muscles. You know what I mean? I mean, they're two completely different roles.
No question about it. So, that's premiering in the fall, so that's a big role. Of course, Nicola now is just coming off of Transformers, where she played, the female lead opposite Mark Wahlberg.
Right.
So she got that. And then, if you look at Greg, Greg coming off of Wizards of Waverly Place, Pretty Little Liars, he landed the leading role in a show called Faking It for MTV, and that just got renewed for another second season. So all the 4 leads have really done incredibly well. So so it's a little bit luck on our part, but a little bit of talent and our director for casting them. And so they're all great actors, and their careers are going to go a long way, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, when you look back at it maybe 5 or 10 years from now, having those 4 in the same film, I think people are going to look at that as maybe kind of like a steal, you know what I mean? Like getting those 4 of that level, of that caliber in the same movie. It's
true. But you know what's funny? At some of the screenings we went to, it seems like the interest also really comes towards Steve Guttenberg. Because everybody is like, we had a screening last night, and they're like, wow, I can't believe Steve Guttenberg was in the film. Like, it seems like, people looking forward to seeing Steve also. So it's funny. Just funny.
and Nicola actually filmed Transformers after this film, correct?
Yeah. She had got cast for it. God, I would say at least 6 months after our film was completed.
Wow, so she's been busy.
So it was after. I mean, we had no idea. All of these actors. I mean, Ben, as far as Boardwalk Empire, got casted later. Same with Grant with The Flash, and same with Gregg with Faking It. All of them were cast way after, and we had no clue where they were going next. So it was like it just worked out well for us.
Yeah, and the fact that I think Transformers, the fact that it released a couple weeks ago, I think will actually help this movie because, Nicola might not have been quite on people's radar until maybe Transformers being such a blockbuster film that it was. And now that she's on people's radar, I think people are going to be looking for her, looking for other movies that she's in, and they're going to see this, they're going to see that's coming out, this week. And I think that's really going to help it.
I do too, and I think they'll be pleasantly surprised because in this film, she really tests her acting chops because she is the lead female, and she's and she has to maneuver a relationship in the film between 2 guys, and then also to deal with her cousin Ben, who, like I said, who's the lead, also moves in from the Midwest to live with her and her family. So she really deals well with the 3 guys. She's quite an actress. I mean, she's a real talent, and she has that Bates Motel that she's doing too. So that's I think probably in the fall there'll be some more new episodes with her in it also. So she's a real talent.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I think this role actually, and I've seen the Transformers, the new one. She's she's older now. She's 19, but in that film, she's still playing Mark Wahlberg's kid. And even though she is somebody else's kid, living with her parents in this film, it's still more of a little bit of a mature role than Transformers was. And I think it's more of a mature role for pretty much all 4 of them. And I think, is Grant the oldest one at 24?
Yeah, I would say he is. I think Gregg is 22, Nicola's 19. I don't know Ben's age. I think Ben's also around Gregg's age. So yeah, Grant would be the senior, the young senior of the group.
Yeah, so I can't imagine doing a role like this. Obviously, I'm no actor, but having to just seeing what they've done with the film, doing this 5 years ago when I was 22 or 23. I mean, it's definitely.
Yeah, no,
go ahead.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And they were so great on set. The shoot at some days were more trying than others, especially with the party scene, the white party scene. But they were just unbelievable. You can't believe they were so professional. You think they'd been acting for 30 years. They just were so calm, so cool, and they were just wonderful to work with. Every one of them. It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
I think that's definitely going to show on screen for sure. Talking about your past works a little bit, you've been part of comedic movies like The 10, and like I said before, Harold, and then also more dramatic features like Decent, and now this one with Affluenza. What genre do you prefer? Do you have a preference?
It's funny. I like comedies, and I do like based on true story type of films. In this business, it's sometimes you have to make what you can get made, not what you want to get made.
Right.
But if I had my preference, it would be comedies and true stories. I have the rights to Rocky Marciano's life story.
Oh, really?
Of course, Marciano was a great fighter, and retired at 49 and was the only undefeated heavyweight champion. But it's a tough film for me to get off the ground, just for a lot of reasons. But those are the films I would prefer to do. But again, like I said, sometimes you find a great script that you say, hey, you know what, this is a film I need to make. So it's a double-edged sword. But if I had my way on every film I could do, it'd be basically comedies and biography.
Okay, yeah, because I definitely want to check out, among your other films, but The 10 really stuck out to me. Just the cast on it was amazing.
Yeah, we had a good time shooting that. We just every day, we got another call from our casting director. Oh, this one's on. This guy's on. This guy's on. This guy's on. And it was just a lot of fun because it was interesting. Some guys some people like Winona Ryder was on for a good portion of the shoot, but then you'd go on and maybe Jason Sudeikis was only on for 3 days. But some people were on longer, some people shorter. But it was just a fun shoot because every day somebody else was walking through the door, and we had a lot of fun with it. We actually premiered it at the Sundance Film Festival, and it was just from day one, it was just a fun experience. And Paul Rudd, working with Paul, is great. He's just a wonderful guy and a great talent. And David Wayne, the director, did such a good job, and Ken Marino, who wrote it. So it was a whole nice group. It really was.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could, when I was watching the trailer for it, I could tell David Wayne was the director for it because of Role Models, and a lot of the people. Now this came out actually before Role Models did, but a lot of the people in Role Models show up in the 10 as well.
Yeah, it's true. David has and Ken Marino, who's his writing partner, has their favorites that they like to bring around. Just like I guess Adam Sandler has his favorites. So and he tries to work with some of the people he's familiar with, he gets along with, and that's talented. So he does have a good group, and some of that was brought to from Wet Hot American Summer, which he brought some of his talent from that to the 10. So it really worked out well.
Right, and looking at now, I have said this many times. I look at IMDb. I just don't always take it to heart because it's not always right. But looking on there, at least, I want to talk a little bit about your future projects. On there, it says Cop Show with Colin Quinn and Jerry Seinfeld, and then another one called Juvie.
Yeah. The Cop Show. Colin Quinn wrote it, directed it, and star of it. And the pilot episode, Jerry's in, and he's been very helpful in the project, in every which way, and so we're moving on that, and we're working on placing that show now.
Okay, yeah, and I saw Tom Papa was listed in the credits somewhere.
Yeah, Tom Papa.
He's hilarious.
Nick DiPaolo, Jim Norton, Robert Kelly. We had a host of. It was wonderful. We had a bunch of the comedians, and they would just go off in the middle of shooting, and we picked up a lot of good stuff, and it's going to be quite a show. I mean, the show hopefully, we'll start regrouping and shooting other episodes in the fall, and we got some great stuff. Colin's written some great stuff, and we have some great people that are going to be on the show, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. And then it says Juvie is still filming. Is that right?
Juvie's now in post.
Okay. They have to update their site.
We just finished shooting it. Yeah, I know. We got to update. We just finished shooting about a month ago, and that has Jared Gilman, who was the star of Moonrise Kingdom with Bruce Willis, who did a great job, and he's the lead, and Eric Roberts plays his father, who's just a great actor. So it was a wonderful shoot, and that is now in post.
Okay. All right. Well, I know we got to wrap up, but before we get going, we like to end our interviews with what's called a rapid fire. It's basically just a few quick questions to kind of get to know you personally a little bit better, and just real quick, first thing that pops into your head, stuff like that. Okay.
Sure. Of course, please.
Okay. First one. What would be your favorite piece of technology?
I guess it would be the Apple iPhone.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was actually.
Because I said between that and the iPad, I live on them, so it's a great piece of technology for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I was talking to somebody about this earlier. Apple kind of invented the smartphone, basically, and I can see them actually eventually playing a little bit of catch-up, maybe, with the droids, because now, they like to stick to their guns, but what they do works, so, I mean, they don't have to change much.
Yeah, that's true. It's true, and I didn't love the whole idea originally of a computer with a phone, but I got used to it, and it serves its purpose.
Yeah, definitely. Second question would be, if they made a movie about your life, who would you cast to play you?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is a tough one.
It's a very tough one. Who wouldn't want Brad Pitt playing him?
There you go.
Or if if it's a rougher side of my character, maybe Tom Hardy. But
oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so it depends, but either one would be fine.
You actually, it's funny because you'll always ask the same rapid fire questions, so we kind of cycle them around a little bit. And I think this is only the third or fourth time I've asked that, and you're the second person to say maybe Tom Hardy.
Yeah, well, Tom Hardy doesn't come to everybody's mind, but he's a wonderful actor.
He is a great actor.
He's got a great look. So he'd be great.
Can't go wrong. Third one.
No, you definitely can't.
What's your favorite TV show of all time?
That's a good one. Well, I love The Odd Couple.
Okay.
I could watch it. I could watch it forever. But I wouldn't sell short any Three Stooges shorts, Abbott and Costello, or The Honeymooners. Okay.
All great answers. Last one for you. If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Pizza.
Pizza? Any particular kind?
I just go with the regular margarita, mozzarella, tomato sauce.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
That's if I had to eat that every day, I think I can live on that.
And you get, you kind of hit some of your basic food groups. You get a little vegetable, a little carbs, little protein.
and a lot of gluten.
A heck of a lot of gluten, yeah. All right, Morris. Well, I really want to thank you for joining me. It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed the show, and good luck with everything this summer.
Yeah, thank you. Make sure you go see Affluenza, releasing this Friday, July 11th. For more info, you can actually follow the film on Twitter at Affluenza Film. Also, go watch some of Morris's other films, too. Like I said, The 10 looks fantastic. Thanks for tuning in. You can find more guest spotlights at nextlevelradio.com. I'm Adam Gorey. That wraps up another Next Level Radio guest spotlight. I'll see you next time.